So yeah, there we go, brother Alim Cepeda, out of New York, Harlem. I want to say thank you again, brother, for taking the time to get with me here on the Prison to Promise podcast. And so just before I hit record, you were sharing with me about some of the agencies that service youth. So maybe we could jump into that in a minute. But just before you jump back into that, maybe you can tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself, perhaps where you from, what neighborhood you from, though I already provided some of that already, and maybe how much time you spent behind the wall.
Got you. Cool. All right, my name is Alim. I'm from Spanish Harlem, East Harlem. From Jefferson, raised out here. Been incarcerated, my youth and also my 20s. First at the age of 14. Came home when I was 15. 3 weeks later, got locked back up. Then I came home when I was 18. Still home and then I got locked up when I was 19. And I did 10 and a half years, came home when I was 30 and been home ever since. Yes. That has been that journey. So, my whole 20s locked up, my whole adolescence incarcerated. So unfortunately, I was like, you could say raised in the system.
Mm-hmm.
I also took the opportunity while I was incarcerated to educate myself, to read books, because I knew that one day I was going to come into society and that I also needed something to bring to the table if I wanted to be employed. Yeah. So I got involved with programs. For example, I used to be part of Venice program, a correctional facility, whereas it was something like the Scared Straight, but without the fear,
Yeah.
And I used to do that. And then I was also part of the debate team, which is something I want to bring to the community as well.
Yeah.
Yes, the debate team, because I feel the debate team is speaking. It's critical for people to advocate for themselves and know how to advocate for themselves, and know how to be precise and concise.
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of times people think that, yes, we have institutional racism, but at the same time, there's also rules of engagement. And when you're speaking with a councilman or with the judges or with any type of government officials, and you have time to speak, our time is very limited.
Yes, sir.
And learning the rules of debate, whereas you got to spit your pros or cons in 2.5 minutes. Learning that, once you do that, that's how I learned. Feel that many young individuals will learn that skill too, and it's a critical skill. Debate.
Absolutely. That's dope. Tell me, man, two things. What encouraged you to start pursuing education while you were incarcerated? And then the second part is, what encouraged you to become a member of the debate team?
Got it. All right, cool. What encouraged me to get educated while incarcerated, it was several things. The main character was Malcolm. I look up to Malcolm X. I was inspired by his story, and I was inspired.
Again? Say it again. The person's name?
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Indeed.
Yes, I read Malcolm X's book when I was in Spofford, and then I seen the Malcolm X movie before I got incarcerated. So that whole deal and rehabilitating yourself or habilitating yourself if you wasn't habilitated in the first place.
Right. Good point.
And then coming into society, that right there was an inspiration. But when I was incarcerated, Pataki had already took away college, and it wasn't until certain facilities have colleges, Eastern Correctional Facility had Bar College, Sing Sing got the master's degree program, right. Mercy College, but I just didn't have the opportunity to get into the college program. I was in Eastern because my classification dropped. So when I went to Alta Kill, that's when I got part of the it's called, you're probably familiar with Rising Hope, which is the theological seminary, a college level theological seminary where I earned the certificate in ministry and human services.
Yes, sir.
From there, I the it was that was in 2007. Then the movie called Great Debaters came out.
Yeah.
When me and a few other inmates, prisoners, we were like, listen, we should have a debate team. And first it was just a debate club, like just to learn our skills. And then the one that was orchestrating it, they was able to finesse privileges against colleges and society,
Wow.
And we'll debate topics like should juveniles be tried as an adult? Is like what's cruel and unusual punishment? Those are the two that stuck out to me. And the reason why it sticks out to me because that's the one that came out. I'm not sure if it influenced on Governor Cuomo, but when Governor Cuomo came into office, that was one of the first things he did was he raised the age limit, to be considered as an adult instead of being 16, 17. I think now you got to be 18 or 19 to actually be considered an adult. And that's the reason why then a lot of the adolescents that was in Rikers Island, it sent most of them to the juvenile detention centers here in New York, because of that move. Now, what kept the motivation of pursuing education and being part of the think tank at Arthur Kill to bring college into the prison, which eventually they was able to bring in the new school, Eugene College actually, which is from the new school, come to Staten Island, Arthur Kill. We was getting college credits for that. They closed Arthur Kill, so that college program is done. The Rising Hope is done. I wanted to maintain the relationship because it was in the city with them in regards to what I want to do the nonprofit. And what I wanted to do was, and I'm still gonna try to do it. Is I want to debate team and then see what is the requirements of a debate team entering prison, and then debating against them, the same way how they used to come how certain debate teams for different colleges used to come into the prison. I'm gonna see if the developer and hopefully I get a sponsor.
That would be dope. So you'd be able to again pour back into the brothers who are inside the penitentiary some of the same richness that was poured inside of you to help you, sharpen up for when you came out into the community.
Correct. True indeed.
You said something too. You mentioned El Haji I said you mentioned something, which was, you talked about El Haji Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X. And so his story also was an impetus for me as well. After reading his story, that let me know that I could habilitate or rehabilitate myself and I could educate myself. And that, even though I eventually went to college and got degrees, I understood that the truest form of education was knowledge of self. And this is what Malcolm X had attained, and that was when he really became educated and really became a force to be reckoned with. So I just wanted to connect with you on that because I thought that was so powerful that you mentioned Malcolm X as an influence to you crossing over.
Yeah. Correct, true indeed. And what also kept the motivation strong was that in On to Kill, that was back in 2006, I think. That's when I found out about Exodus, and I heard about Holy Medina. She did 25 years. He met the president. He started this program from the church, and I was inspired by that story. And I was like, listen, I want to do something like that similar. Do something like that similar. But I also want to do gang intervention and prevention because I noticed they wasn't doing that.
So was this all stuff that you were thinking about while you were incarcerated? About this is what I'm gonna do when I get out?
Correct. Yes.
And what gave you the confidence that you could do this? And here you were still locked up, with a state number and greens and all of that, going to commissary. How did you develop this type of gumption and confidence?
All right. The way I developed it was, like I said, the motivation was seeing brothers come from two organizations that used to visit the facility, right? No, three organizations. One was called Osborne Association.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was called Fortune Society.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was called Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
And Exodus is founded by a former prisoner,
Mm-hmm.
and 95% of the staff are formerly incarcerated individuals,
Okay.
and they college educated. And then people in Fortune Society, same thing over there, about 65 or 70% of the staff is formerly incarcerated
Mm-hmm.
and college educated as well.
Okay.
So when they, that within itself was telling me, like, listen, you know what? It could be done. I mean, it could be done. Like, I just got to find a niche, find my niche and either work with a big organization or coordinate services with them, because you just got to find a void. And the void that I found was the evening and the weekends, that a lot of organizations don't have activities going on at the 5 o'clock in the evening.
Right, and that's what we were just talking about before we signed on.
Yes. And that's something that I see in New York City, which is very critical, because a lot of crimes, most of them happen during the evening times from 6, to like 9, 10. So if you have a program, let's say I'm in East Harlem, so we have the Boys Club, but everybody don't go to the Boys Club, you know? But the Boys Club stays open till like 10. We also have LaGuardia. Every time you play basketball, you'll go to LaGuardia. That's the only, then we have Johnson Community Center. Same thing if you're into basketball. And then we have Wagner Community Center. Same thing if you're into basketball.
Well, what if you're into basketball? Everybody into basketball, a sport.
So if a child's not into basketball, they're not going to even head towards a community center, even if they have other things in the community center that's vital. But just them having that one sport is like, nah, I'm into football. Or, you have soccer. A lot of people's into soccer nowadays, But
kids are studious too. A lot of kids are into writing and reading and book clubs and all of that. And science.
Correct.
And coding.
Like journalism and stuff like that. And that's what I want to do. Like, what I want to do is, like, I have like different workshops. Like, one workshop will be AVP, right? Alternatives to Violence Program. I want to bring that workshop, to the community. 3-day workshop, conflict resolution, interview, things like that.
Try this also. Try looking into restorative justice also.
Yes. Wow, I'm surprised you mentioned that, restorative justice. Yes, I'm familiar with restorative justice. I'm definitely restorative justice. We had a class on that. I was in the Rising Hope alumni, and her name was she wasn't a doctor. But her name was Margaret Kern Atkins, right? And she was the coordinator for the prisoner education in New Jersey. So she's in New York, and then like have a think tank with us, right? And we used to give them ideas and help the teachers tell them like this is how they'll be successful in New Jersey. And sure enough, from what I heard and I looked up on myself as well, is that they have the prep program, and they also have a thing called NJ Step, which is like for people that takes college courses right in the inside, and at least they go to Rutgers University and they can get a bachelor's degree over there.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I like that. So when I heard that, that's just that's just like refueling, refueling the motivation. Like I said earlier, and it's critical to go back to the youth and that time schedule, that void. Yeah. And what I said with the nonprofit organization is that I want to operate from like 6 o'clock to probably like 9 or like 6 to 10, like that.
And what you're doing with this, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. I think we got lost in translation, but what I was going to say is it sounds like what you're doing with this also is providing youth with certain types of supports that they need, because they may not have those supports. And in saying that, my question for you, Mike, is my friend, what kind of supports were you afforded or did you have coming out of the penitentiary that allowed you to get to the point where you are right now? Because we know a lot of cats come out of the penitentiary, they don't have any support, so they have very weak supports. And so even though they have dreams and ambitions, a lot of times they fall to the side because their supports are not helping them to hold up some of the things they need to hold up.
Got it. All right. Well, when I first came home, I was going to, it was like a symposium, and that was made up of all the formerly incarcerated people that graduate program, which was the theological seminary, and also that was part of the new school.
Right.
So a lot of us, when we all got paroled around 2010, 2011, we used to meet up by this church down in Union Square, and that was my first support base. You know, that meeting group. My other support base came from the College Initiative. The College Initiative is a program for formerly incarcerated individuals that went back into college. Yeah. So that they provided me, you know, I had that advisor, like, listen, you're gonna go to class, you're gonna go to college. I'm gonna line you up with a mentor, so like that, it can show you how to navigate the college system, how to utilize the emails, and you know, I had that support base coming from the College Initiative for that. And then, you know, I got family. You know, I'm fortunate to say that I have family. Like I got my brothers, I got my uncle that with them. But I had my little bumpy roads because
all of us do.
Yeah, you know, I came home when I was 30, and you know, I found myself lucky I caught myself, but I found myself like hanging out, like going to work, going to school, but then I was hanging out because I was like telling myself I ain't got no social life. I ain't got no social life, right? So then I'm hanging out, and then one day, like, you know, nothing, I don't judge nothing like that, but just one day I seen it was Jim Jones in like a picture, and he was with like a whole bunch of young individuals. Because I was like, it was like looking at myself. So I was like, wait a minute. I'm hanging out with a whole bunch of younger individuals. And when I looked around, I'm like, yo, my son is, because now my son is 22. So I was like, man, once I realized that my son was hitting the 20s, I just had to tell myself, like, you know what? Hanging out with a crowd that's gonna be around my son's age. And then we do the same thing. I'm like, that's not productive. Yeah. So I woke up out of that. You know, I guess that was what some people say, like, try to live your second childhood. Yeah. Or some people say that's like a man child at times. Yeah. So I went through this, and I was glad that a few people pointed it out to me. You know,
and you were receptive to it.
Yes. Because, you know, I could have been hard. Hold up. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Because I could have been hard-headed and be like, nah, I got to do me. Because, you know, when you mentioned support system, outside of the organizations that I mentioned, like, Exodus was a support base at one time too, because I had to go there to take up anger management. And I ended up taking up like domestic violence or domestic anti-violence just to satisfy the anger management portion for parole. Yeah. But doing that, and then like I said, Julio Medina, his story was like, you know, he did 25 years. He came program, and I was like, all right, but they was only hiring people with degrees, right? Yeah. So I'm looking at myself, and there's one person that I see that he has his nonprofit, well, it's a for-profit organization, but he's doing a lot of social justice. He's doing a lot for the people in Fernandez, right? King Tom. But he don't have a college degree. So when he told me he don't got a college degree, that right there just told me, like, wait a minute, I don't gotta wait to finish college. I could start this now and get connected with some of the people that's doing the work now. And that's how, you know, I got familiar with this Credible Messenger. Yeah. Justice Center. So now they starting to tie me into trainings and workshops, you know, to my skills, and they try to get me a position. You know, they try to open doors for me.
Yeah.
And I gotta be grateful for that. I ain't gonna lie, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And everybody don't have to have a college degree.
I'll come every day. Correct.
That's not for everybody. And then, you know, a lot of people think because you go to college, that means you're smart, or because you got a degree, that means you're smart. And I think that the person that work hard oftentimes is just as successful, if not more successful.
True indeed. I agree. I definitely agree.
All you got to do to get a college degree is work hard. You ain't even got to be smart.
Correct. Work hard, apply yourself.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Absolutely.
You know?
And then, you know, education comes in so many different facets. It's like, you know, I know some people who could build a house and they don't have a high school diploma. I know some people who could wire a building, you know, and all they have is a high school diploma. But let somebody like me who has a doctorate degree try to wire a house. I'm gonna electrocute myself and burn the house down. You know,
Gotcha.
Everybody has their own area of expertise and knowledge.
True indeed. I absolutely agree. You know, it just dawned upon me when you asked me about what motivated me in regards to the education.
Oh yeah,
the debate team, and I told you about the movies that influenced me in the books. A religious quote was a major motivator, right? And so one quote was that it says, Allah would not change the condition of the people until the people change the condition within themselves. That quote right there, I kept up. I've written it and I always keep it pasted wherever I'm at. I did it in my cell. I even do it right here. You know, I'll put that up. And the other quote is that, you know, to seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. You know what I mean? Like, never give up, never stop.
Absolutely.
And those been the two other guiding factors for me, like, you know, internally and spiritually and whatnot, to keep moving.
Yeah. And those are ageless truths, man.
Yes. Definitely.
So if your life's journey from the time that you were incarcerated to where you are now in your life, if that could be captured in a book title or a quote or a phrase, what would that be for you? What would that phrase be for you?
Shedding the gangster image.
Shedding the gangster image.
Yes.
Dig it. And what it makes me think about when you say that is a caterpillar.
Yes.
You know, because the caterpillar eventually sheds its shell, sheds its skin, you know, and then it emerges as this awesome butterfly that's beautiful and has the potential to soar above all the other things that used to keep it grounded.
Correct. True indeed.
That threatened it. And now, you know, it's this magnificent celestial creature, you know. So that's so that's who I see right now. I see a butterfly in front of me. You know, Brother Alim, the butterfly.
All right, that's peace. That's peace. Yes, I like that metaphor, because as soon as you say that, I was like, yes, that goes hand in hand. It definitely goes hand in hand, because that's what it is. And it's wow. I might use that hashtag, because a lot of people use the phoenix as a logo.
Yeah,
I was also using the phoenix because of what the phoenix stands for, but I don't want to, you know, have, because, you know, I'm inspired by Exodus, that they had the phoenix as a symbol.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, I can't do that. But maybe using, you know, probably having like a butterfly. You know what I mean? That could be almost the same message, because you're shedding the old and you're coming into the new.
Yeah. If I don't know if you can see my arm, but you know, I got that butterfly right there.
That's a butterfly. Got it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And that is that symbol of metamorphosis, transformation, shedding the old and coming into the new. you know, becoming better than I once was,
Yes.
and that's what I'm
That's
hearing
true
from
indeed.
you. And that's what I'm trying to promote with this podcast, is showing how brothers and sisters are shedding their old skin, that old image, and becoming something better and new than what they once were.
True indeed. True indeed. True indeed.
Mhm.
And because we might not know it, but a lot of people look at us without
Mhm.
even knowing it. Like, you know what I mean? You got people that just be watching, whether I ain't talking about like the haters, I ain't talking about those that envy, but I'm just talking about those that actually like look up to you. They might not even tell you that they look up to you. They might be inspired by you. You gotta be mindful that, when I say me, because let's say coming from dealing with the gang life, right?
Yeah.
The youth was always, even though I don't use the word gang, because I say gang life so like that everyone can understand what I'm talking about. Gang, because according to the Black Law Dictionary, the word gang is a group of people that came together for criminal purposes.
Right.
That's why I say street organizations that have a gangster image, and
Yeah.
that's basically what the Kings was, is a street organization that has a gangster image,
Right.
but and essentially that talks about crime, to do crime, nothing like that. So that also, helped me become like a better king, a better man, a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I had to keep evolving because, a brother once asked me, and he asked, yo, would you teach a little kid, how to gangbang? And I was like, nah, I ain't gonna teach no little kid how to gangbang. So he was like, all right, but if people look up to you, then that's what you're doing indirectly. You're teaching them how to gangbang.
Got something on you.
When he told me that, I was like, okay, in that case, I gotta start looking at my blind spots, and
Yeah.
I had to start responding to things differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to go back to homework, which is, it's called, I took a class, a workshop when I was incarcerated called Mine,
Say that again. What was the name of it?
Inside and Out of the Criminal Mind.
Oh, wow. Deep.
And that workshop there, I mean, it's good. Like, I'm gonna find because they have a curriculum out there. And I'm gonna find the that it talks about, for example, like helplessness, lying when you don't even know you're lying, always playing the good person, like you want to be the hero, victim stance, always playing the victim, and it's a few others. The criminal thinking, because that's what a lot of people don't realize. One doesn't get rid of the criminal thinking, regardless of where one go in life, you could be working a legit job, all that is good. But if you don't get rid of the criminal thinking, then something could happen that might trigger that criminal thinking to come about.
Yeah.
So that was to go back and be like, I know what, let me get rid of the criminal thinking. So now,
and that right there, Alim, if I could just say real quick, that criminal thinking piece, I think that sometimes that's a lifetime piece of work that we have to work on.
Yes,
even though we know it's there, it might pop up at any time, and if we don't arrest it, it'll take over us.
Correct. Because it's funny you say that, because out here in New York, right, they have the shelter system.
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember when I had to go to Bellevue for like a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I visited the shelter, and it was for the purpose to go to the castle, which was the Force of Society.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, me and the person from Force of Society, we couldn't link up, for them to pick me up out of the shelter. So I was like, listen, it's no way that I was gonna be in society, right? And having the mindset of being incarcerated, because the aura, like when you go to Ross Island to the shelter system, right? The aura that you get, I'm not gonna lie, is the same exact aura as if you're incarcerated. And then the DHS officers, right? They look like correctional officers.
Well, those shelters feed the prisons.
Huh?
They feed the prisons.
Basically. So when I see that, I was like, nah, I had to get out of that. And I always remind myself, like, listen, I ain't visiting that. And ain't going back in the inside. Like, when I say this last bit woke me up, it truly did. And having a child was a vital factor of that.
And you know, research says, you know, they call it protective factors, you know, having a child, having a wife, you know, having an education, you know, all these things are protective factors that keep us from reoffending and turn us away from doing things that'll send us back to prison.
Look at that. True indeed. True indeed.
Yeah. And you mentioned a whole bunch of protective factors in your life, you know, your child, your family, your education, your support networks, you know, and these are things that a lot of people take for granted, you know, and when they come home, they go right back to the street, go right back to the criminal lifestyle, go back to hanging out with young people that are younger than them doing crazy stuff. And on. Sometimes they same old homies as the same age, but still doing dumb stuff.
Correct.
But you overcame a lot of things.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Now, because you read about that, that's true indeed. Like, you still have, like, living in a second childhood. I see people that's older than me. I'm like, you know, they be talking. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But now I applaud myself that at this stage in life is that I can now walk. I could be in the projects. I don't care. I could be in the hood, and I can hear something I don't like, and it won't face me like that no more. Now, say I don't gotta stop and address it.
You matured.
Correct.
But hey, look, we're just about out of time, Alim. You know, and so one of the things I want to squeeze one last morsel of wisdom out of you before this thing cuts off on us. And that is, what would be some wisdom or some insight that you would share with, say, a young Alim or another young person who is in the same predicament that you found yourself in as a young person, trying to break the cycle?
One is love yourself and don't neglect yourself. Don't neglect yourself, because the minute you realize that what you got to do for yourself, neglect yourself during the whole times while you was in the street, while you was incarcerated, trying to impress everyone else and wasting time on mundane things. So really invest in yourself, love yourself, and don't neglect yourself.
That's one to grow on, man. That's definitely one to grow on. Yo, I wanted to say thank you, man, for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable and, you know, giving of yourself, man. You know.
Yes. Thank you, and thank you for giving me these opportunities and this platform to speak.
Absolutely, brother. You know, and my hope is that people will hear your story, somebody who has been like you, who's going through the same things that you're going through, have gone through, and they find some inspiration from you. That's the whole purpose for doing this, trying to inspire the next group of brothers and sisters that are coming behind us.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm with that.
Yo.
With that. Okay.
With that, that's a wrap then.
All right.